Harry felt himself slam flat into the ground. His face was pressed into the ground. The smell of it filled his nostrils. He had closed his eyes while the portkey transported him, and he kept them closed now. He did not move. All the breath seemed to have been knocked out of him. His head was swimming so badly he felt as though the ground beneath him was swaying like the deck of a ship. To hold himself steady, he tightened his hold on the two oinks. He was still clutching the smooth cold hilt of the trivising cap and Cedric's body. He felt as though they would slide away into the blackness, gathering at the edges of the brain if he let go of either of them. Shock and exhaustion kept him on the ground, breathing in the smell of the grass, waiting for someone to do. Smiling to happen. And all the while, his scar burned dully on his throat, a torrent of sound deafened and confused him. There were voices everywhere, footsteps, screams. He radiant fire. His face screwed up against the noise as though it was a nightmare. The wood paused, then a pair of hands seized him roughly and turned him over.
Harry! 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 He opened his eyes. He was looking up at the starry sky, and Albus Dumbledore was crouched over him. The dark shadows of a crowd of people pressed in around them. Pushing nearer, Harry felt the ground beneath his head reverberating with their footsteps. He had come back to the edge of the maze. He could see the stands rising above him, the shapes of people moving in them, the stars above. Harry let go of the cup, but he clutched Cedric to him even more tightly. He raised his free hand and seized Dumbledore's wrist, while Dumbledore's face swam in out of focus. "He's back," Harry whispered. "He's back, Voldemort! What's going on? What's happened?" The vase of Cornelius Fudge appeared upside down over Harry. It looked white, appalled. "My God, Diggory," it whispered. "Dumbledore, he's dead!" The words were repeated. The shadow figures pressed in on them, gasped at to those around them, and then others shouted and screeched at into the night. "He's dead! He's dead! Cedric Diggory dead!" Harry let go of him. He heard Fudge's voice say, and he felt fingers trying to prise him from Cedric's limp body. But Harry wouldn't let him go. Then Dumbledore's face, which was still blurred and misted, came closer. "Harry, you can help me now. It's over."
"Let's go. He wanted me to bring him back," Harry muttered. It seemed important to explain this. "He wanted me to bring him back, to his parents." "That's right, Harry. Just let go. Now." Dumbledore bent down and, with extraordinary strength for a man so old, and then raised Harry from the ground and set him on his feet. Harry swayed. His head was pounding. His injured leg would no longer support his weight. The crowd around them jostled, fighting to get closer, pressing directly in on him. "What's happened? What's wrong with him?" "Tiger's dead. He'll need to go to the hospital wing." Fudge was saying loudly. He's ill. He's injured. Dumbledore. Tigers' parents, they're here. They in the stands. She'll take Harry. Dumbledore. I'll take him. No, I would prefer. Dumbledore. Amos Dagger's running. He's coming over. Don't you think you shall tell him before he sees? Harry, stay here. Gear was sobbing hysterically. The stand lingered oddly before Harry's eyes. It's all right, son. I got you. Come on. Hospital wing. Dumbledore, say stay, said Harry thickly, the pounding in his care making him feel as though he was about to throw up. His vision was blurring worse than ever. You need to lie down. Come on, now. Someone larger and stronger than Harry was half pulling, half carrying him so the frightened crowd. Harry heard them gasping, screaming, and shouting as the man supporting him pushed a path south them, taking him back to the castle.
Across the lawn, past the lake and the German sunship, Harry heard nothing but the heavy breathing of the man helping him the hand. A light in the man shed at last as he lifted Harry up the stone steps. Clank, clank, clank. It was made-eyed Moody. Can't pants as Borky, said Harry, eyes across the entrance goal. Took me and Cedric a graveyard, and Voldemort was there. Lord Voldemort, clank, 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 up the marble stairs. The Dark Lord was there. What happened then? Killed Cedric, they killed, and then, clank, 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 along the corridor, made and pointed had his body back. The Dark Lord had his body back. His return and the Death Eaters came, and then we duelled. You duelled with the Dark Lord. Got away. My wand did something funny. I saw my mom and dad. They came out of his wand. Harry, I need to know exactly what happened. Moody helped tip the stuff down Harry's. He coughed. A peppery taste burned his. Moody's office came into sharper focus, and so did Moody himself. He looked as white as fudge, and both eyes were fixed obliquely upon Harry's face.
Voldemort's back, Harry, you sure he's back? How did he do it? He took stuff from his father's grave and from Voldemort and me, said Harry. His head felt clearer, his scar wasn't hurting so badly he could now see Moody's face distinctly, even though the office was dark. He could still hear screaming and shouting from the distant Quidditch pitch. What did the Dark Lord take from you? Said Moody. Blood, the Harry raising his arm. His sleeve was ripped via Voltaire's dagger had torn it. Moody let out his breath in a long, low hiss. And the Death Eaters, they returned. Yes, said Harry, loads of them. How did he treat them? Moody asked quietly. Did he forgive them? But Harry had suddenly remembered. He should have told Dumbledore. He should have said it straight away. Then there's a Death Eater at Hogwarts. There's a Death Eater here. They put my name in the Goblet of Fire. They made sure I got through to the end. Harry tried to get up, but Moody pushed him back down. I know who the Death Eater is, he said quietly. I know who the Death Eater is, she said quietly. Karkaroff, said Harry wildly. Where is he? Have you got him? Is he locked up? Karkaroff, said Moody with an odd laugh. Karkaroff fled tonight when he felt the dark mark burn upon his arm.
He betrayed too many faithful supporters on the Dark Lord to wish to meet them. But I doubt he will get far. The Dark Lord has ways of dreading his enemies. Karkaroff gone. He ran apple, but then he didn't put my name in the camp? No, said Moody slowly. No, he didn't. In the was how did that? Harry thought but didn't believe. No, you didn't, he said. You didn't do that. Can't have done. I assure I didn't, said Moody, and his magical eyes swung around and fixed upon the door. And Harry knew he was making sure that was no one outside. At the same time, Moody drew out his wand and pointed it at Harry. He forgets them then. He said the disinterest who was afraid, the one who asked Azaban. What? Said Harry. He was looking and the word Moody was pointing at him. This was a bad joke in the head to be. I ask you, said Moody quietly, user he forgot the scum who never even went to look for him. Those treacherous cows who didn't even braid Adam for him. The faceless, worthless bit of fellow who were brain enough to cover in mask and the Quidditch World Camp, but fled in the sight of the dark mark, and I fried into the sky. You fried und dark tongue about? I told you, Harry. I told you is the one thing I hate more than any other in the Death Eater who walked free. They turned their backs on my master when he needed them most. I expected him to punish them. I expected him to torture them.
Tell me, hear them, Garry. Moody's face was suddenly lit with an insane glow. Tell me, told that I alone remained fat fool. Prepare to pick everything to deliver to him the one thing he uttered about Oliver. You didn't. It can be you who put your name in the Goblet of Fire under the name of a different school. I did. Who frightened of every person I thought might try to prevent you winning the tournament. I did. Who nudged Garrett into showing you the dragons. I did. To help it, you see the only way you could beat the dragon. I did. Moody's magical. I had now left the door. It was frisk upon Garry. His lopsided mouth leered more widely than ever. It hasn't been easy, Garry, guiding you through these tasks without arousing suspicion. I've had to use every ounce of cunning I possess so that my hand would not be detectable in your section. Dumbledore would have been suspicious if you had managed everything too easily. As long as you got into the mice, preferably with the decent head start, then I knew I would have a chance of getting rid of the other champions and leaving your way clear, but I also had to contend against your stripping. The second task, that was the I was nosed. Every day we would fail. I was keeping what on you, Potter.
I knew you hadn't worked out the eagle's claw, so I had to give you another hint. You didn't hear Sir Halsey. Cedric gave me the clue, who told Cedric to open in underword I did. I trusted that he would pass the information on to you. Dissident people are so easy to manipulate, Potter. I was sure Cedric would want to repay you for telling me about the dragons, and so he did. But even then, Potter, even the you seemed likely to fail. I was watching all the time, those others in the library. Didn't you realize that the book you needed was in your dormitory all along? I planted it there early on. I gave it to the Longbottom boy, don't you remember? Magical Mediterranean water plots at their properties. It would have told you all you needed about Gilliwit. I expected you to ask everyone and anyone you could for help. Longbottom would have told you in instance, but you did not. You have a streak of pride and impudence that might have ruined all. So what could I do? Feed you information from another innocent source. You told me at the Yule Ball a house elf called Dobby had given a Christmas present. I called the elf to the staff room to collect some rolls for cleaning. I stretched aloud conversations with Professor McGonagall about hostages who had been taken, and whether Potter would think to use Gilliwit, and your little elf friends tried to stop Cabor and Hedrick to find you.
Moody's went west, still pointing differently at Harry hair. Over the shoulder, woody shepherd's hair moving, and in the peg cuts on the wall. You were so long in that leg, Potter. I this your head broke it. But like Dumbledore, your idiotly for newbies and market you hit for it. I brother again. Your had a easily time of it that you should have done it that may stunning if of course, say Moody. That was weekend I was patriotically wrote it able to see through the hours happened able to course many obviously of your way. I still fled for Dumbledore as she passed one, but the embarrassing cards on cramp. So what he would finish Diggory and like your path to the cup clear. Harry stared at Moody. He just didn't see how this could be Dumbledore's friend. Was she famous or the one who bade Caterly to many dear attacks? It made no sense at all. The wooden shepherds in the foreglass were sharpening and became more distinct. Harry could see the yardling of their pupil Woody's shoulder, moving close and close. But Moody was watching them, his magic eyes and your Harry, the Dark Lord, didn't manage to kill you, Potter, and he saw water too.
The Dark Lord aside Mood. The heel-looking goblin inside a note wearing over heavy, leaning down at him. Head in common, but of your entices had very disposable, fathers very disposable in the both in your servant in jelly. Harry of making number after the fathers, and both yours have ladders the very great pleasure for killing or barbers to analysis. The continuing rise to the dark order you met Harry side, but couldn't stop himself. Yours met thought Moody, his wise reasoning untouchable. We still what know the Dark Lord has intentionally, which me his side as his back Harry Potter. I did no conjuring him, and in one conjuring you, mood rises his wand, opening his source, Harry planning stupidly the words bleeding a flash of red light, and which agreed speedily and crossing the door of your moods. Officer Blade's mood was torn and lecturing on the office floor. Harry still strange and thin place, very mood's face. Had been Sir Albans and Blazery prostant shape and prostrating MG Jolly looking back at him for the foreglass. He looked around, saw the for staying in the drawing in the moment in for the vent on terrace. The moment Harry Flower industrial, the fears the we people cite the moment was this is which Wolverine has every fact the looking open the mumblers fast his stride down on the Ukrainians format your mood was monitoring the Harry called every.
There was no bland smile upon Dumbledore's face, no twinkle in the eyes behind the spectacles. There was cold fury in every line of the ancient face, a sense of power radiating from Darling, as though he was giving off burning heat. He spat into the office, placed a foot under Modi's unconscious body and kicked him over onto his back so that his face was visible. Sleep followed him, looking into the false glass where his own face was still visible, glaring into the room. Prefect MacDonald went straight to Harry. Come, Alan Potter, she whispered. The line of her mouth was twitching as though she was about to cry. Come along, who spilled the wind? No, said Dumbledore shyly. Dumbledore, he ought to look at him. He's been enough tonight. He will stay Minerva because he needs to understand, said Dumbledore carefully. There be recovered. He needs to know who has put him through the Orling he has suffered tonight and why. Might Harry said he was still in a state of complete silent. How can him have been might? This in to Alastor mighty, said Dumbledore quietly. You have need no Alaston might. The real Moody would not have rooming you from my side after what happened tonight. The moment he took you and you I knew and I followed. Dumbledore bent down, diving over Moody, lip form and put a hand inside his robes. He pulled out Moody's hip flask and a set of keys on a ring. Then he turned to Professor McGonagall and Snape.
The spellbook hit Wayne this time is content and assortment of broken sneakers, some patch and steals, and what looks like a silken invisible cloak. Harry watched at stage as Dumbledore sees and keys in the respective lock Ruskin the trunk and its the time rival contents. Then he plays in the look Ocean, the lead and Harry. Let out the cry of slime. He was looking down its cadent of pit at in the various room and like on the flotsam feet below. Up fast and start the absent was a real Mad Eye Moody. His wooden leg was sogging which wood. Should he was magical eye looks ambition is lit as like is green here missing. Harry stared between the stilk Moody in the trunk and fetch me the strongest push you possess and go down to the kitchens and bring to the house elf called Winky. Kylie go down to the Harry's house where you will find a long black to the go sitting in the pumpkin patch. Take the go and my office. Tell him I'll will be with surely them can be here. If I swipe of Mongol fouls this in stretch they hit the cozy about tight at the woods left the office. Walk used to the trunk with 7 logs the foul skin the log and ink it caution myths if spellbook Dildor close the trunk place a second key the second lock and ocean the trunk again. The stable hit when this time is cocktailed and experiment of
Dumbledore climbed into the trunk, lowered himself and fell lightly onto the floor beside the sleeping Moody. He bent over him, stunned controlled by the imperious goose very weak. He said, "Of course he wouldn't have needed to keep them alive. Harry, throw down the impostor's cloak. Alistair is freezing. Madame Pomfrey will need to see him, but he seems in no climate danger." Harry did as he was told. Dumbledore covered Moody in the cloak, tucked it around him, and clambered out of the trunk again. Then he picked up the hip flask that stood up on the desk, unscrewed it, and turned it over. A thick glutinous liquid sputtered onto the office floor. "Polyjuice poison," Harry said. "Dumbledore, you see the simplicity of it, and the brilliance. For Moody never does drink except from his hip flask. He's well known for it. The impostor needed, of course, to keep the real Moody close by, so that he could continue making the potion. You see his hair." Dumbledore looked down on the Moody in the trunk. "The impostor has been cutting it off all year. See where it is uneven. But I think in the excitement of tonight, our fake Moody might have forgotten to take it frequently, as he should have done. On the hour, every hour, we shall see." Dumbledore pulled out the chair and the desk and sat down upon it, his eyes fixed upon the unconscious Moody on the floor. Heart started at him too. Minutes passed in the silence. Then, before Harry's very eyes, The face of the man of the floor began to change. The scars were disappearing, the skin was becoming smooth, the mangled nose became whole, and started to shrink.
The long mane of grizzly gray hair was withdrawing into the scalp and tuning the color of straw. Suddenly, with a light cloud, the wooden leg fell away as a normal leg regrew in its place. Next moment, the magical eyeball had popped off the man's face as a real eye replaced it. It rolled away across the floor and continued to swivel in every direction. Harry saw a man lying before him, place-skinned, slightly freckly with a mop of fair hair. He knew who he was. He had seen him in Dumbledore's pencil, had watched him being led away from court by the demonstrators, trying to convince Mr. Crouch that he was innocent. But he was light around the eyeball now and looked much older. There were hard footsteps outside in the corridor. Snape had returned with Winky at his heels. Professor McGonagall was right behind them. Crouch, Snape said, stopping dead in the doorway. Barty Crouch. Good heavens, said Professor McGonagall, stopping dead and staring down at the man on the floor. Filthy, disheveled, Winky peered around Snape's legs, her mouth opened wide, and she let out a piercing shriek. Master Barty, what is you doing here? She launched herself forward onto the young man's chest. You killed him, you killed Master's son. He is simple stunned, Winky, said Dumbledore. Snap aside, please. Severus, you have the potion. Snape handed Dumbledore a small glass bottle of completely clear liquid. The Veritaserum with which he had ordered Harry in class. Dumbledore got up, bent over the man on the floor, and pulled him into a sitting position against the wall. Bends the foul glass, in which the reflection of Dumbledore, Snape, McGonagall were still glaring down upon the old. Winky remained on the knees, trampled her hand over her face.
Dumbledore forced the man's mouth open and poured 3 drops inside it. Then he pointed his wand at the man's chest and said, "Renovate." Crouch's son opened his eyes. His face was slack, his gaze unfocused. Dumbledore knelt before him so that their faces were level. "Can you hear me?" Dumbledore asked quietly. The man's eyelids flickered. "Yes," he muttered. "I would like you to tell us," said Dumbledore softly, "how you come to be here. How did you escape from Azkaban?" Crouch took a deep, muttering breath, then began to speak in a flat, expressionless voice. "My mother saved me. She knew she was dying. She persuaded my father to rescue me as a last favor to her. He loved her as he had never loved me. He agreed. They came to visit me. They gave me a draught of Polyjuice potion containing one of my mother's hairs. She took a draught of Polyjuice potion containing one of my hairs. We took on each other's appearance. Winky was sharing her lad, trembling. Say no more, Master Barty, say no more. You is getting your father into trouble." But Goose took another deep breath and continued in the same sad voice. "The Dementor are blind. They sensed one healthy, one dying person catering Azkaban. They sensed or healthy, one dying person leaving it. My father smuggled me out, disguised as my mother, in case any sonors were watching through their doors. My mother died a short while afterwards in Azkaban. She was careful to drink Polyjuice potion until the end. She was buried under my name and bearing my appearance. Everyone believed her to be me. And what did your father do with you when he had got you home? Said Dumbledore quietly. Staged my mother death.
A quiet, private funeral. The grave is empty. The house elf nursed me back to health. Then I had to be concealed. I had to be controlled. My father had to use a number of spells to subdue me. When I had recorded my strength, I threw only of find my master, overturing to his service. How did your father subdue you? Said Dumbledore. The imperious course, Crouch said. I was under my father's control. I was forced to wear an invisibility cloak day and night. I was always with the house elf. She was my keeper and carer. She pitied me. She reduced my father to give me occasional treats, rewards for my good behavior. Master Bartley sobbed me Winky through her hands. You isn't out to tell them we is get in trouble. Did anybody ever discover that you were still alive? Said Dumbledore softly. Did anyone know except your father and the house elf? Yes, said Grouch, his eyelids flickering again. A witch in my father's office, Berta Lukins. She came to the house with paper, took my father's signature. He has not a home. Winky showed her inside and returned to the kitchen to me. But Berta Jorkins heard Winky talking to me. She came to be investigate. She heard enough to guess who was hiding under the invisibility cloak. My ladder arrived no she. He put a very powerful memory charm on her to make her forget that she'd found out. Too powerful, she said, it damaged her memory permanently. Why is she coming to knows? It's my master's private business, sobbed Winky. Why isn't she leaving us be? Tell me about the Quidditch World Cup, said Dumbledore. Winky talked my father into it, said Grouch, still in the same monotonous voice.
She spent months reducing him. I had not left the house for years. I had loved quietly. Let him go, she said. He will be in his invisible cloak. He can water. Let me smell fresh air for once. She said my mother would have wanted it. She told my father that my mother had died to give me freedom. She had not saved me for a life of imprisonment. He agreed in the end. I was carefully planned. My father led myself and Winky up to the lawn box early in the day. Winky was to say that she was saving a seat my father. I was sit here in silently. When everyone had left the box, we would emerge. Winky would appear to be alone. Nobody would ever know, but Winky didn't know that I was growing stronger. I was straining to find my father's impressed cruise. There were times when I was almost myself again, where there were defined periods when I smit outside his control. It happened here, in the top box. It was like waking from deep sleep. I found myself out in public and in middle of the match, and I saw one sticking out of boy's pocket in front of me. I had not been allowed, and one side before Azkaban is stolen it. Winky didn't know. Winky's friend on heels. She said he had her face hide. Mr. Barty, you had a boy, whispered Winky, twist reaching between her fingers. So you took the wand, said Dumbledore, and what do you do with it? We went back to the tent, said Crouch. Then we heard them. We heard the dead eaters. The one who had never been to Azkaban. The one who had never served for my master. They had trampled this back on him. They were not in love as I was. They were free to seek him, but they did not. I'm utterly making sport of Maggie's.
The sound of their voices awoke me my mind. Was clear that it had been in years. I was angry. I had the yunt. I yunted to act them for their disloyalty to my master. My father had let fat he had how to free dead mouths. Winky was afraid to see me so angry. She used her own breath of magic to bind me to her. She pulled me from the tent, pulled me into the forest, away from the dead eaters. I tried to hold her back. I wanted to return to the campsite. I wanted to show those dead eaters what loyalty to the Dark Lord meant
And so I must knew that I was still his faithful servant, perhaps the most faithful of all. I must conceived a plan based upon the information Marta had given him. He needed me. He arrived at our house near midnight. My father answered the door. The smile spread wider over Grouchy's face, as though recalling the sweetest memory of his life. Winky's petrified brown eyes were visible through her fingers. She seemed too appalled to speak. It was very quick. My father was placed under the Imperious curse, but my must. Now my father was the one imprisoned, controlled. I must forced him to go about his business as usual, to act as though nothing was wrong. And I was released. I awoke. I was myself again and alive as I had been in years. And what did Lord Voldemort ask you to do? Said Dumbledore. He asked me whether was wrong ready to risk about everything for him. I was ready. I was my dream, my greatest ambition, to show him, to prove myself to him. He told me he needed to place a faithful servant at Hogwarts. A servant who would guide Harry Potter through a Triwizard tournament without appearing to do so. A servant who would watch over Harry Potter, ensure he reached a Triwizard Cup, turn the cup into a portkey, which would take the first person to touch it to my mast. But first, You needed Alistair Moody, said Dumbledore. His blue eyes were blazing, so his voice remained calm. Wormtail, and I did it. He had prepared the Polyjuice potion beforehand. We journeyed to his house. Moody put up a struggle. There was a commotion. We managed to subdue him just in time. Forced him into a compartment of his own magical trunk.
Took some of his hair and added it to the potion. I drank it. I became Moody's double. I took his leg and his eye. I was ready to face Arthur Weasley when he arrived to sort out the muzzle who had a disturbance. I made the dusting mood right the yadder. I told Arthur Weasley I had heard intruders in my yard who had set the dust bins off. Then I packed up muesli, clothes, and dark dyster, put them in the tract with Moody, and set off Horus. I kept him alive under the Imperious claws. I wanted to be able to question him, to find out about his past, learn his habits, so I could fool even Dumbledore. I also needed his help to make the Polyjuice punch. The other ingredients were easy. I stole boomslang skin from the dungeons. When the potions master found me in his office, I said I was under orders to search it. And what became of Wormtail after you attacked Moody? Said Dumbledore. Wormtail returned to care for my master in my father's house, and to keep forth owes my father. What your father escaped? Said Dumbledore. Yes. After a while he began to file the Imperious claws, just as I had done. There were periods where he knew what was happening. My master decided it was no longer safe for my father to leave the house. He forced him to send letters to the ministry instead. He made he write and say he is. What Wormtail never finished his duty. He was not watchful enough. My father escaped. My master has that he was heading for Hogwarts. My father was going to tell Dumbledore everything, to confess he was going to admit that he had smuggled me from Azkaban. My master sends me word of my father escape. He told me to stop him as old cost. So I've waited and watched. I asked the map I had taken from Harry Potter.
The map that had almost ruined everything. Map said Dumbledore quickly. What map is this? Potterman of Hogwarts. Potter saw me on it. Potter saw me stealing more ingredient for the polyjuice potion from Snape's office one night. He thought I saw my father, as we have the same first name. I took the map from Potter that night. I told him my father hate dark wizards. Potter believing my father was after Spain. For a week I waited for my father to arrive at Hogwarts. At last one evening, the map showed my father entering the grounds. I pulled on my invisible cloak and went down to meet him. He was walking around the edge of the forest. Then Potter came and came. I welted. I could not hurt Potter. My master needed him. Potter ran to get Dumbledore. I turned Krum. I killed my father. No, Wild Winky, Master Barty. Master Barty, what is you saying? You killed your father, said Dumbledore in the said for was. What did you do with the body? I had the map with me. I watched Potter and into the calls he met Snape. Dumbledore joined the I watch Potter breathing. Dumbledore out of the calls. I walked back out what the forest. Dumbledore round behind them went to meet them. I told Dumbledore Spade had told me where to come. Dumbledore told me to go and look for my father. I went back, me to father body went, everyone was gone. I trusting my father body, he bacon a brown. I buried it while wearing the invisibility clown in the fleshy. I got arrow in front of Hades' cabin. There was complete savals. My export for vision continued. Then Dumbledore said,
And tonight I offered to carry the trivised cap into the maid before dinner whispered, but recrouch, turned into a pocket. My master's plan worked. He is written. A porkin, my master plan work, and I will be honored by him beyond the rim on wizard. The insane smile lit his features once more, and his head drooped, and his shoulder and weakened well and sobbed at his side.